Hey, Mayor.
Hey, Tom.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
I appreciate sending out to your community, the Bellmead community, on our holiday light event. I think it's going to be fun.
I think that well, Vince may have a little comment to make about it. We're going to have the police meet the fire truck over at the Bellmead Methodist and give them an escort over to Palmer Park. So with sirens on and everything else blasting.
That's going to be fun. Thanks so much for doing that.
But I think Laura Catherine's going to probably make a comment too. She's
Mitty.
Education Committee the other day. She had some
Mitty.
suggestions too.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you. We're pretty excited. Weather permitting, we're just crossing our fingers right now.
Look at that. We were having such a beautiful December, and all of a sudden it just hit.
Well, a week and a half ago when we were watching that weather, it looked perfectly fine. You know, you just sort of want to do it right, and then
Two things. It's got the picture.
the rain started creeping in there.
Picture's not taking camera.
Bob, you need to mute, and you need to mute and be quiet or say something important. There he goes. There he goes. Look at Bob.
All right.
You got your ugly sweater on, Bob?
I got it all on, baby.
Okay.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
I got something to say about that. I want to make it clear. I didn't get the memo till later, and I don't consider orange an ugly color. In fact, it's the most beautiful color in the universe.
That's kind of peach. That's not orange. That's
an
peach.
ugly sweater.
That's peach. I think I did send that out about 20 minutes ago. So.
Louise, I'm just making it clear that my orange sweater is not intended to be ugly.
All right.
I did not get the email in time as well.
Yeah.
My Burberry is one of my favorites. I have to say.
But we all look good except Jim.
Look at this. Look at the ugly sweater here.
There you go. Now that qualifies.
I know.
Andy, come on now.
Okay. I'll be nice. I'm through.
That's okay. It is my ugly sweater, but it's. Let's see here. Larry, where's the flag, son? You're outside. You're muted. There he goes. Okay, now we got our flag. Okay. I can actually furnish the flag. I can only get, that was part of the boulevard flags, but I couldn't get it edited in time to get to where you could actually see the flag. All you can see is the tail end of it. Okay, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Y'all staying warm?
Trying
Freezing
to.
out there.
Keeping the door shut though.
It's a good way to do it.
Hello, Steve Casey. Just wave at us.
There we go.
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're I wasn't counting myself, so maybe that's okay. It is now 16:02. If that. Vince, before we get started, are you going? Oh, is this your new dispatcher down there?
Yes, sir. That's
All right, he is that. Okay, good. I was going to ask you to make sure he was going to be on the Zoom with us. Good.
He'll be through it all.
All right. Well, if we're all ready, we can. I was in a Zoom last night with the flag group, and they stay seated, but they all did cross the heart. So if we want to do that and do the pledge, and Larry, you got the flag behind you, so I pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of
United States of
America.
And to the
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Indivisible.
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
Good. Thank you all very much, and welcome to the December 16th meeting. Uh-oh. LK, is
Sorry.
that your dog now?
Sorry.
Oh, somebody just came in your door.
It's my dog walker. Sorry.
There's just no privacy in these Zoom calls, is there? Okay. December the 16th, 2020. Right now, we will open the public comments portion of the meeting, and I see that we have our Councilman Tom Druffel. You want to make some comments, Tom?
I'll make a quick comments. Happy holidays to all of you, and looking for a great season. Hopefully, we understand Santa Claus is coming in over the skies in a fire truck this Saturday. Weather, he's sort of sensitive to weather, so we got to be careful with this one. But I really appreciate the support in getting that out there. We have a holiday light contest. Money goes to the rescue mission. There's no cost to enter. We're just trying to make this fun. We got 4 stops for Santa. It's all on holidaylights23.com. And again, we're just trying to make this a fun event. Chief, thanks for escorting our fire truck driver. He's a friend of mine that does tailgates, Mayor, that at Vanderbilt with us with two TVs on the side. But he'll be well lit up. So we're excited about that. And thanks for all your support. Just another comment on the transportation plan. It was approved as a resolution. It doesn't, last night at the Metro Council meeting, I think some people misunderstand when they see the price tag of this, that we're going to raise taxes, et cetera. It is just approved as a resolution at this point in time so that we can start applying for federal and state grants. There is no commitment and it's a long ways to go before it gets executed. But I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. It's the top need in our city. We sort of forgot about it with COVID, but the reality is there is no commitment. It's just to get us jump started. And I'll take any questions if anybody has. Otherwise, I wish you a great holiday season.
Well, Tom, thank you for putting this holiday lights and holiday spirit together for the Councilmatic District. I think that we're going to see more lights in Belmead than we have in the past too. I think we'll hear a little report from LK who might talk about that when her time comes. So anyone else from the public have any comments? Steve, you got any comments? You keeping all the water unfrozen, right?
I'm not sure I have the power to do that, but
I'll try. Okay.
yeah, that's right.
Okay. We'll close the public comments portion. And is there a motion for the approval of the minutes of November the 18th, 2020? Any discussion? We'll be here all day waiting for a motion on this one.
So moved.
All right. Louise made a motion to approve.
I second.
Rusty seconds. All in favor by roll call.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Where's Bob Weigel? There. Oh, he's muted. Well, I think I saw his lips movement, so he approved it. All right, we'll move on and we'll move on to Public Works. Larry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Where are you, Larry? Let me find you on my screen. There you are. You're back outside now. Good. Okay.
Yes, sir. Any questions or concerns on the report?
Any questions for Larry? Public Works.
None from me. The wreaths look great. Thanks for getting them up.
They do. They look wonderful. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks to me, and the guys did a great job as well.
Okay, Larry, you got any other comments? We got the, all the roads paved and
Yes, sir.
any comments on that?
Looks great. They did a wonderful job. Jones Brothers was very professional and did a wonderful job, and all that is completed. So glad to have that behind us.
Okay. All right, city services. Chief Higgins.
Yes. One thing you may have noticed is the lower patrol miles for November, and that'll be due to officers being out with either COVID, they had COVID, or they were quarantined waiting on COVID results. And so we ran low for a little while and there wasn't as many officers working. But other than that, the report stands as is. And if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Did you have to double up, or were you short any shifts, or did everybody chip in to?
They chipped in. We actually didn't have enough people at once to cover the 4 12-hour shifts. And for about a week, we went down to 8-hour shifts and had 2 officers on each shift working every day until the COVID people started filtering back in, and we were able to get back to the 12s. So everybody pitched in and did a good job and got us through it.
Good. Bob Weigel, you got any questions on the police report?
No, I did not.
Chief Rusty Moore, I always like to mention that on my daily drive from one end of Belmead Boulevard to the other, I am constantly, almost every day, I am with a speeder or someone who is in the wrong lane. And I would always love to see more enforcement of that turn lane only issue. I follow people that turn off from West End onto Belmead Boulevard and ride that lane all the way to Chickering Road.
Okay, I'll put the word out and we'll step up enforcement on that.
I would love to see us do that, especially as people are, getting out and home for the holidays and getting out and jogging and walking. It's certainly a safety concern, but that everybody's tired of hearing me say.
You're fine. Thank you, sir. We'll get on that.
Thank
Vince,
you.
the police cars could follow in that left lane, and when they see somebody violating, just hit that siren real quick, and that'll move them over.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
Yeah, they
But
might even pull over waiting for a citation. You can decide whether you want to at that time or not.
Yeah, normally we give them, if they pass up 2 opportunities to turn left and they don't, then that's when we'll make the stop. But we'll increase that.
Yeah.
Lieutenant, this is Bob. I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
I noticed that you've got some new reports out on the disposition codes of the LPR.
I wrote those on there so y'all would understand what they meant.
What does DSN mean to me?
Oh, that is the designated serial number for the officer.
Okay.
That just tells which unit number, which officer was making the stop or taking that action.
I got you. Looks good. I like it.
Okay,
Chief,
good.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Who was that?
Sorry, this is Haley Dale. Chief,
Yeah.
I wondered what's going on with the identity theft that is referred to. A recent rash of ID theft cases. I just wanted to.
That's in the detective's report?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm mainly just curious.
Yeah, I would have to talk to him to get the details
Okay.
of where he's at on those. but that's something that it kind of comes and goes. Sometimes there will be a little rash of them, and then it'll be quiet for a long time. These phone scams and things like that come through, and some of the more elderly citizens will
Mhm.
sometimes fall for this stuff.
So y'all are assisting people with that stuff. It's not necessarily happening in the city. People are just calling you, like if their credit card gets stolen, it's not really a mailbox issue or anything like that.
It can be.
Okay.
People can have mail stolen. The detective was telling me recently about there's a phone call scam, and it had something to do with an ID theft thing or whatever, but the suspect call was actually coming from Nigeria.
Oh.
Yeah, it could come from just about anywhere. So he's working on that one right now.
Okay, so y'all you try to put the pieces back together on that stuff, whether or not. That's great. I didn't know that.
Yes,
That's really
and
nice.
it's often hard to make an arrest in a case like that too, because the suspect will be far away from here.
Right.
Off.
Okay.
But the victim is a Belmead resident, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Chief, what are you finding new in your role as the chief?
I've been staying busy. Been trying to keep the city manager happy.
Yeah, you got your hands full there.
Good luck there.
Now we've
Notice she's not
all
laughing a
doing
whole
that.
lot.
She and I have been together for 30 years, so we work together fine.
Good. Any other questions for Chief? Larry, how about health and sanitation?
Yes, sir. Any questions on the report?
Larry, this is Haley. I just had a quick question, mainly because I'm the new kid that like Jim likes to call me. Are these that we see every month, do you find like a pattern with these service calls, or
Yeah,
the same offenders or?
Yes, ma'am. Miss A. We keep a log. We've got a service records going all the way back to 1999, and we keep up with all the service calls. So if they're repeated, and we have a repeat due to something that they keep doing over and over, they can be charged for. Most of these are not repeats. Almost all of them aren't. It's just we've replaced pumps or we've had an issue at that house.
Okay.
If they are repeats, we usually will put on there and note, and if we do, and we haven't had to charge anybody in quite a while for abuse, we notify them and we give them one warning and kind of a reprieve, say, hey, this is what we found, and document it, and then go from there.
Makes sense.
Larry, I have a question. When you
Yes,
have
sir.
these Tennessee One calls, what do you guys have to do for those calls?
Anytime they call one call, we have to, if we have sewer force main on that location or a grinder tank, we have to, by law, mark it, and so that they can do excavation.
Okay. Well, I'd like to tell you thank you for all your work on this. We kind of pass that by, but there are always a lot of calls every month. And I see my address on there this time, and I know why, because they had to plant a tree. But so let's just throw out a thank you for that work, because that's something we never talk about, but I'm sure that's very time consuming.
And that falls under Dylan's wheelhouse, and he does a really good job on it. And when he's not able, me or Nathan do them.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, it's Bob Weigel.
Yes, sir.
Have we ever billed anybody for abuse of the system?
Yes, sir. We have.
Okay. Since I've been there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has it been me?
No, sir. No, it wasn't you.
And my next question is, what is the difference in the cost of the new pumps relative to the old pumps that we got from a different distributor?
Talking about the E1s versus the Myers. We have two different systems. You know, we have Myers and E1s.
Yeah.
The Myers we had to get from a different supplier, and there was a cost difference, an increase in the cost of those pumps. I don't have that number sitting in front of me, but it was quite a, you know, I want to say it's around $1,200 versus $900. I think
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And the E1s run about around $1,400 a piece.
Larry, how many new pumps do we get a year approximately?
We
talked
get
about that in budget the other day.
Yeah, we get like 30. We do three sets of 10 on the Myers, and on the E1s, that's just kind of. I'd have to look at that number exactly on the E1s, but I know we usually we get 4. Beginning of the year, we got 2 group pallets, so there's 4 in each box, so we got 8. We probably do 15, 16 new pumps a year or more. It's just according to usage.
Roughly, how many do you repair or renovate, if that's the right
Well,
word?
we have quite a few that get rebuilt, and we have a cap on the rebuild. If it's over a certain amount, we don't rebuild. We go ahead and replace with new, because it would be ridiculous to spend the cost of a new pump.
Yeah.
Larry and Beth, I assume that Mr. Petty, who's going to be doing the rate study for the sewage department, will know that there's been some price increases. So we have all the current price increases in the rate study.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other things on health and sanitation? With that, we'll go to Lyle Patterson, Building, Zoning, and Planning.
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Happy to answer any questions you have about the reports.
Well, you just opened three new permits. Is that typical for this time of the year?
It's a little less than typical, but I think we're going to make up for it in December. I've had quite a few already.
I see my cousin Charlie Vaughn, and I see Joe Don Rooney's on there. Joe Don's, what's he doing?
I don't recall.
It says recuperations.
Recuperations is the name of the contractor.
Oh, that's the contractor. You don't remember what he's doing. It's a $650,000 job, so that's a pretty good job on West End. Okay, anything else for Lyle?
Now, Lyle, I noticed that the permit value is down 16%, but the permit fee is only down 13%. So I take that as a positive.
Yeah, I think that 16% probably is contributed to the country club from last year.
Yeah.
But we're gonna tighten that number up in December.
Big things happening, huh?
Big enough. I don't know if we're gonna, overtake last year, but it's gonna be a good year.
Lyle, are you watching that progress on that parking area? It looks, I can't figure out what they're doing. It looks like a racetrack over there for miniature golf or miniature carts or something.
Yeah, those are the concrete curbs you're seeing, and they're putting in drainage underneath the parking. It's going to be very nice. They're adding quite a few places. It's very similar to what was done at St. George's, their new parking lot.
So there shouldn't be much runoff on that one. It's going to be absorbed, a lot of it into the soil.
Yes.
Okay, well, there was a lot of surface area that was considered, but I guess it's so much pervious stuff. Steve, have you taken a look at that, Steve, on what they're doing in the parking lot at the country club?
Yes, I did. And they are having the permeable pavement goes into under drain of gravel. Some of it will soak in the ground. Some of it may get into an under drain, but that eventually heads out to the vegetation on the golf course. So,
Oh, good. So they're,
yeah, I think it was well done.
okay, did you hear that? They're trying to conserve that water over there.
I did. I love to hear that.
All right.
Will the corner look green though? Will there be vegetation that will the landscaping actually look green on that corner? It looks
Yes,
kind of
they're
well-
going to add some landscaping. That was part of it. Yes.
okay. Okay.
They just started doing some of the landscaping down Harding Place in front of Enquire, but it hadn't proceeded very far yet. But it's starting to. It looks like they're using what kind of holly is that? Oh, I know what the name of it is, but
Is it Nellie Stevens?
the Nellie R. Stevens, and they're not real big, but I can guarantee you they'll grow. They're big
They
ones.
actually took out a couple of large hackberries that were a danger to people parking at the club, but they're going with multiple trees. So it's going to be
Okay.
a good thing.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else for Lyle? We've got one action item there, and that's the appointment of Doug Hale as BZA alternate. You all should have received Doug's bio a couple of weeks ago anyway. We've got some real strong reporting on him, and we look forward to some great things from him. And I don't know whether, Lyle, you want to make any comments about Doug?
I'm really excited to have him be a part of the Board of Zoning Appeal. He's got, I don't know if you notice down towards the bottom of his bio, he was with the Franklin Planning Commission. So he is really on top of things. He understands meetings, how to run meetings. I think he's going to be a tremendous asset.
Where's there's our counsel. Doug, you know him?
I know Doug well. I called him and talked to him this week. We've worked together for, I guess, 40 years. And during the 18 years I was city attorney for Franklin, he was just great in every respect. He's going to be great. Really think a lot of Doug.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a comment, and if we need a motion, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Doug. I've worked with Doug for many, many years. In fact, all the years I've been practicing law, and he is just outstanding. He is also a meticulous and diligent guy, which I think will be very, very good for our Board of Zoning Appeals. And I look forward to having him serve on that, and would like to make a motion to approve him for the Board of Zoning Appeals alternate.
Rusty, that's as alternate, and the reason for it, we have to go through the stages of alternate to regular. I would hope that we can make him a regular even next month, as soon as next month. So you want to amend your motion?
So as a BZA alternate.
Is there a second?
I'll second Haley Dale.
All right, motion made and the second. All in favor, say aye. Roll call.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Good, thank you. And as I say, we will probably moving him to a regular membership. Since we're really short now of one regular member anyway, so we'll do that next month if everybody feels like that we should. So he'll be on the agenda for next month. Any other parts of the zoning planning? Lyle, you got anything else you want to add?
Not at this time.
All right. Waste collections, Larry.
Mayor, this is the letter that's in the notice in there for the change of the Christmas schedule for the trash pickup.
Yeah, got it. Has that been sent out yet?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday.
Yeah, they put it on all the trash cans on the route yesterday.
All right, Beth, are you going to do some kind of blast, or you want me to put this on Neighborhood Watch too? I can do that.
You can do that. I'm planning on Friday afternoon to send out an email blast to everybody about the entire Christmas schedule for the dumpsters and for the special Monday and Tuesday morning pickup. So the more we get it out there, the better off we're all going to be. So yeah, please send it to Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
I'll send you what I'm going to send so you can pretty much duplicate it. I'll do that.
Dan Beasley said that he thought he could do the brush on schedule. Monday, maybe had to work a little bit overtime Monday and Tuesday, but he thought he would finish everything up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beth, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Have we heard anything back from Franklin Disposal on the new way we're picking up recyclable stuff?
No, we decided that the change is really going to affect them more than the residents. The residents are still going to put all their recycling in the blue bag in the recycle can.
Right.
And then his staff is going to put the recycle bags at the end of the driveway until the recycle truck can come by and pick them up, and they'll rip the bag open and throw all the recycling into the truck.
Is that going to cost us any more money?
No, he's not planning on any price increases at this time. We're just going to.
All right, thank you.
Works.
Anything else on the Christmas week pickup schedule? Beth, I know I asked you this in advance, but the post-Christmas pickup is when that becomes a pretty big hassle, doesn't it? Because of the amount of trash that's collected, or a lot of that's recycled.
We're going to have a lot. Ray is going to do extra pickups of the dumpsters. So we're not going to have a special dumpster out in the parking lot like we used to do, but he is going to pick up almost every day of the week following the holidays. The dumpsters will be closed on Christmas Day, but after that, he's going to pick up, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then 2 extra days the next week in hopes that he'll keep the dumpsters empty for people to bring stuff down.
Is the cardboard dumpster filling up regularly? Is it full too often that we can't get things in it? I see a dispatcher over there nodding his head.
I don't think the cardboard dumpster is. Is it, Larry?
No, sir. They're emptying it 3 days a week, and the day that the previous day they empty, usually it's full that day, and then it's empty, and we go probably a day and a half between, and then it fills right back up. But no, it's been holding its own pretty good. We're not really in bad shape as far as it goes. I'm not expecting it to be extremely crazy.
Okay. Well, that was certainly a good move to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add one thing, Jim.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we have any control over this, but the U.S. Post Office is not emptying their box out there enough. You go by there and it gets filled up quite a bit.
Is that because of the time of year, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, it's certainly, if they see that, they need to be doing multiple pickups, man. They sometimes, if it's not raining, we put a box up on top of it, but that's not a good idea either. So
I don't know if there's any comments from city manager to the post office would help or not.
I don't know either.
You raised your eyebrow on that one, I saw.
We've talked to him before about some other things, and got promised.
Bob, your postman retired, didn't he? The one that was wanting to sue the city, right? He retired.
Who are you talking to?
You.
I don't know. I hope
Your
not.
buddy.
That precedes a lot of these commissioners.
I wasn't aware of that.
That was your wife, and the postman. They were having some kind of runoff on how he couldn't drop his mail. He couldn't pick up his mail because we were going to cut off that lane over there.
Yeah, that's right. I remember it now. I'm a little slow. Go ahead.
That was a fun time, I tell you.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Beth laughed about that one. She did like that. Okay. Okay. How about taking over here?
Gladly. Hi, everybody. Hope y'all are great. So series met on Monday the 14th, And we had Haley Dale join us. We are thrilled to have our newest commissioner join us. I told her that we're a whole lot of fun in person. And so we'll just have to wait until we can get together again. And, but so she was a good sport to join us on Zoom. And we also had Lee Mills join us. And so we're thrilled to have Lee. We're sort of, when Jim and I and Louise were talking about setting up this committee and getting it going, we thought the first 2 years would be building the committee, getting our roles, sort of getting our groove, doing our, we needed a mission statement, we needed a plan, we really needed to get into it. And then at year 3, we would start looking at financials, and we're at year 3. And so, so Lee joined us and went over the numbers, had a little bit of questions from my committee about breakdown of expenditures, what the city spends versus what we spend, et cetera. So we're gonna work on those reports and get a little more clarity. But I was very encouraged by the committee's response, by their interest. I love that they're ready to step into this next role. So we're just really excited about that. And then we also talked about adding a page onto the Belmead website, the City Belmead website for Society of Series. One of our own committee members couldn't find the link to donate. And so it is kind of hidden, and it's not where you would think, because it's with the boards and committees, which is not really your donate page. And of course you can go to the like pay a fine or pay a bill part, and you can designate it series, but we'd really like to have, you know, our own page that would say, this is who we are, this is where your money goes, these are the giving levels. You know, we thought it'd be a great chance to sort of make some beautiful photos about what we do, maybe highlight yard of the month, that kind of thing. So we're talking about that. And I think that is going to be a really great thing. We'd love to maybe launch it by the time the fundraising letters go out in 2021. So that'll be March, April-ish. So anyway, that's in the works. We're talking about it. Beth was going to talk to their website people, but we may have, we've got a couple people who have a little bit of experience. They've sort of dabbled in some web design. So the kicker is we don't want to add a lot of expense to the city with design time. So anyway, we're working that out. And but we're very, very excited about that. We're just looking, you know, as I've said, with COVID, our donations are down. And so we're really looking to make up for it and hit the ground running in 2021 with everything we got. So we also talked about the Jackson Boulevard Bridge. So on the Belmead Together website, it was posted as a comment, but one of the residents on Jackson was really concerned about, as we all know, that bridge and that intersection has been a point of much discussion, but this was actually about the safety of the bridge with those giant trucks and what we can do to sort of help traffic with that, you know, and this and that. And it was brought up a suggestion to do an arch, sort of like what they do in New Orleans, that would prevent a truck that is too tall to go over. And it wouldn't prevent like dump trucks that are lower but still too heavy, but it might help with the 18-wheelers that started to cut through once the bridge at Post Road was closed. So that's in discussion. We will be working with Kimley Horn, of course, on this. And so Kimley Horn, our next steering committee meets January the 7th, I believe. And then series, let me see here. We meet on January the 6th, and then series will meet on the 11th. So we'll have a little bit of discussion, and hopefully we can get their traffic engineer to join us and to talk about it. But we would love to be part of that. It's a great opportunity to handle so many of the things that Belmead Together is covering, you know, traffic calming, branding, beautification, all of that can be encompassed in this. So know that that's just on the table at the moment. We also talked, so our planting committee, all the fall plantings went in the week of Thanksgiving. So y'all should see all your gorgeous fall flowers. And also we ordered planters for City Hall. Martha Phipps, we really wanted to make a good impression at early voting and whatever. So Martha Phipps, who's head of our planting committee, actually donated her own planters for City Hall during voting. And so those were returned to her, and the new planters should come in December. So we're real excited about that. And then we talked about some fundraising ideas. Back to the whole, we're down with 2020. We'd love to just grab any low-hanging fruit we can, and also start some new initiatives in 2021. And one of the things that was brought up are the big balls of light that are on Tyne and that are on Harding Place. And one of our committee members is working with, so as far as I know, there are 3 different groups of, not teenagers, but young adults that are making the balls and selling them. And one of those groups has agreed to give a donation to Ceres for every light ball set. So either $50 or $75, which is great. And so we would have to figure out how to do that for next year with ordering the balls, maybe through that new web page or something like that. Or when you call them or when you text them the order, you say, you know, I heard about it through Ceres, and then the money will go that way. As far as I understand, each group at the moment is giving away some proceeds to charity. This one particular group said they'd be happy to do it for beautification, and we would love that. And we'd also love for that kind of to be a thing, you know, the way North Carolina is, I think it's Greensboro, is known for their lights. We'd love to maybe have some signature something for Belmead. And so that's something we're working on. We also talked about rain barrels, selling rain barrels for the city to collect. You know, it would help with stormwater runoff, but it would also help with irrigation, and everybody's water bill is through the roof at the moment, and all of this. So one of our committee members is reaching out about that. She's actually going to do a presentation in January on that. So that's another something. I don't want us to turn into, you know, hawking our wares and selling everything we can, but these are things that are on brand for beautification. And if they're willing to give us a discount, then I mean, it really is low-hanging fruit, and I think it's unwise to just walk away from opportunities like that. The other thing we talked about are Tree City.
Hey, Laura, Catherine, real quick, before you move on from the rain barrels.
Yeah,
I wanted to say this the other night, but there was just so much excitement and energy. It was so great. I think I love the idea of the rain barrels. I actually think that they work really well. They are very unattractive. And so it may be something that we just need to put, like, if people are going to purchase them and use them, which I think is a good idea, definitely hiding them from view. I mean, there's one at Julia Green that you can go and look at that's part of the Cumberland River Compact or whatever. I mean, they're huge and not attractive. I think they can be, but so if, you know, just, it's a kind of ironic, like the beautification committee selling something so unattractive. So I think it's something to think about, but it definitely should be done. I just think there's a way that people install them that might be.
We may be able to get a Jack
Just putting it on your
Daniels logo
radar.
and put a Jack Daniels logo on the side of them. That'd be attractive.
There you go. That'd be better. Or just fill them with whiskey.
Sure, that's thank you, Haley. That's a very valid point. I was kind of worried about the same thing. We would definitely, I don't know that we can really control where they're located unless we install them. But we would certainly recommend that they be out of, you know, the right of way or the view or whatever, you know, sort of tucked away in the back. But thank you. That is a very valid point.
Lyle might make sure that they're in the building envelope. That's what.
Absolutely. Okay, so the other things, and I know we covered a lot, so I'm trying to run through them. Our Tree City USA application, I will be handling that in December. It's sort of been put on hold with my schooling, and I apologize for that, but we will handle it. I'd like to get that completed in January. And then Weed Wrangle is coming up. And for those of you that remember last year, well, the past 2 years, we really haven't had a whole lot of response. We worked with the plantation 2 years ago, and you know, we even had one of our members show up looking for us, and the plantation said, we don't know what you're talking about, there's nobody here. They drove around and they couldn't find us, and we had signs and we had this, but it was it was a hard fought relationship with the plantation. And then last year they just flat out said, we don't have any bandwidth. You can do what you want if you want to do it. And then COVID hit. And so it just didn't happen. So what we're thinking this year, and again, this is based on what the Garden Club of Nashville's going to sort of how they're going to approach it, but we are expecting it to be much more neighborhood centric, smaller groups getting together and sort of working on one area in their neighborhood. And of course, we love that with series anyway, because we want to create these, like part of our mission is this building of community through beautification. And so we'd love to have 5 or 6 little areas that our committee members can be a part of, but that the neighbors are coming together and working on their own streets and their own areas and that kind of thing. So that is what we expect it to look like next year. It usually is in March. So Garden Club of Nashville is sort of ramping up once the holidays are over, and we'll have more information on that in January. And that is, yeah, that is all we discussed. We are thinking about doing some educational lectures. We've talked about it before, and then COVID hit, and we kind of think everybody's tired of Zoom, and nobody's really signing up for extra Zooms if you don't have to. So it will probably be something once we can meet in person again, but I think it's another way to just get our message out there and talk about just another way to sort of build community. Let's do a small informational meeting in a neighborhood, in somebody's garden, in somebody's backyard, and talk about anything from whatever the neighbors want, whether it's aphids or the hackberry bug, or, or what to plant, in a vegetable garden, or how to do a sustainable garden and things like that. So that's another initiative that we're working on that we would really like to launch in 2021, provided that we'll be able to meet together in person. So that's what we have. And then because of COVID, we're not having our Christmas party. I'm very sorry to say. So we just might have to have one in the spring. Who knows? But our next meeting is going to be January the 11th. And we would love for anybody and everyone to join us. Of course, it's Zoom. And that's all. So you may have any questions.
Haley, Haley, you already made comments about being at that last meeting. You want to make any other comments about your perception of that meeting and who was on the committee and whatever?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I thought it went great. I think they have a lot of ideas. I mean, I felt definitely like I was in there's a lot of brainstorming it's like, I didn't actually realize how new the committee was. And so it sounds like, it seems like you're right on track for where you should be. I thought it was really interesting, honestly. I do love the idea of the committee being self-sustainable. So I think they have planned out, everyone, a full year of articles. Like you went all the way through next December or something. They've already assigned them. Everything is very well organized, and it was very well run. Everyone could not be more enthusiastic, and I very much enjoyed it.
And they don't have to follow an agenda, so they can brainstorm. It's fun.
We do have an agenda.
Yeah, they did great.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I didn't mean that. I meant that it's not like a commissioner meeting that we have to follow an agenda. You don't have to follow anything.
He's saying that, Laura Catherine, because I'm a major stickler for the rules of the parliamentary procedure. And I know I did know that committee did not follow that. And I did not. I thought it was fabulous.
I think that's why it's so good, because they brainstorm and they can do that.
That's right.
Well, we are so new. I think that's critical to where we are, and so.
Well, Catherine, I have a quick question.
You go, Louise.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are you still alternating meetings and between legacy agenda and Bell Meet Together agendas?
It's sort of merged at this point. It really has merged. And so, and we're at the point, I think, that we have enough on our plates that we do need to meet every month. So the first 2 years, honestly, the first year, I was trying to get people to sign up, which is why I said we're only meeting every other month. Yeah. And then, but as we have grown and as we have sort of stepped into new roles, we do have enough to do and to discuss every month. So it's merged. I would say the first 3 meetings were separate-ish, and then now it's just all together.
Okay, so you and I will just talk offline about when Kimley Horn should have the landscape architect attend the meeting or not.
So I actually asked them twice to join every month. I'm not sure they understood that ask because Alicia wasn't there. But we would really prefer, even if we put it as the first agenda item and discuss that, and then she can drop off. I know that we meet at 5:30 and that's past the 8 to 5 working hours, but we would really appreciate having a representative there. Yes, Beth.
Beth,
I just want to say our contract doesn't exactly
Yeah,
cover that.
It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Want
Sorry
them
about
there
that.
every meeting, they're
doesn't.
going to charge us for that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that is not in our budget, Laura.
Yeah.
I
It's
did
not
not
like
realize
We
that
have a
was not in our
specific,
contract.
if there's a specific item that you want her to be available for to comment on, then we need to know that ahead of time so we can schedule it. She's got 2 little boys, so an evening meeting for her needs to be scheduled.
Sure.
And then once that item is done, she can go off so that she's not charging us for a full hour and a half or more of her time.
Okay, I was not aware.
Of that.
Yeah, thank you.
really-
Okay, well, and what we can do instead is, as we discuss and brainstorm in the meeting, then I could follow up with an email to Louise or whomever that says these are the Bell Meet Together specific things we talked about. And
We want
reach
it to
out
be
them.
value added. That's all. Yeah. But
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Okay,
and we
we'll talk.
have both Carter and I am on the steering committee,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
can represent there.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. So thank you for telling me that, because I was not aware of that. So
Okay.
we will certainly change that expectation and that communication to fit what our contract is. Absolutely.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
could also be invited just to sit in and listen to the meeting. I don't think she'd charge us for doing that. She's
Well, no, and
Sure.
she's supposed to be there. Every other one is all I'm saying, but it needs
Mhm.
to be value added, not just. I mean,
Not just to sit and listen. Absolutely.
but I'd rather her be more proactive than just listening. Anyway, but we could talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for telling me that, because
Okay.
I was absolutely not aware.
Okay.
So
Beth, when do we normally, and LK is to you too, when is the annual fundraising letter sent? That's in March?
it's March, April. We sent it out early last year. And so it went out actually right before COVID hit. So it went out early March. Did it go out early March or end of February? Yeah.
I don't know without checking, but it was that time frame. I think.
Well, I think there was some
Shut down.
confusion on part of the committee because of the fiscal year, wanting to make sure that we did all our collections within this current fiscal year. And there may be some spillover to the next fiscal year, but and because they were so interested in the budget, they want to know how the budget really worked. And Lee, you were participating in that. I think you understood what their concerns were. But they were looking like we were losing money when actually we hadn't raised any money to speak of for this fiscal year. So I think that was a good learning experience for them. But we do want to make sure we get that letter out in this fiscal year, and most of the collections in this fiscal year if we can.
We usually, Beth and I get together and write it January, February, and then I take it to the meeting and have everybody sign it. And then I think the February meeting is when we sign it, and then it goes out, stuff envelopes, etc.
Isn't this sort of an ongoing fundraising effort though? I mean, it's not really only receiving funds at a particular time of year. I know you're sending a letter out once, but can you accept funds at any time?
I think we've historically let people make donations to the flag program for somebody's benefit, or giving gifts in honor of somebody to the series, but that's more on a case-by-case individual basis.
Well, and we put a
link.
link.
It may be good to be a little bit more fluid with it. I'm sure it's a nightmare for somebody, and I apologize. I'm just thinking, for me personally, with an ongoing thing, like I'm more likely to donate to something that I'm directly going to see every day or be affected. I feel like people, as you sort of expand these projects, will be like, oh, I love that idea. Like, I'd love to give to that, so I can see how ongoing things could just have a big timeline. But
Absolutely. No, we are open for donations year round. And part of that was why we put a link. It's a PayPal link, I think, on the website to be able to give year round. A lot of people just don't know how. It used to be you mail in a check. Now you can go to the website and do that. And so, but I agree. I think as you notice the plantings, you think, oh, I forgot to do, and or I need to give. And one of the things we had talked about that didn't happen again because of COVID was in addition to just the letter, like some smaller campaigns, in the summer when everybody's putting clematis on their mailbox, if we could partner with Creekside or someone to say, for this amount of donation, we will plant for you, and do a little sign that says, Society of Series, and so little things like that we can sort of do to keep the donations coming in. I mean, at the moment, once the big campaign ends, we have a pretty big drop off around, if the letters went out at the end of February, then March, April, May, June, they're really flowing in. And then it sort of drops off, and we get maybe 3 or 4 a month, kind of from there. You can look at the city, the newsletters, and see, the list of contributors for the month is really long, those early months, and then by the end of the year, it's 3 or 4 listed. So, but I absolutely agree. I think year round is the way to do it, especially if we can have little campaigns throughout the year to sort of trigger. Maybe you don't notice the plantings because you never drive down the boulevard, but you notice the lights, or you do the flags, Veterans Day and that kind of thing.
I think reminding people of memorials too, because there's so many, so many generous people in Belmead that do make gifts of memorial gifts all the time. And if they would remember that series is there, that would be a nice way to make collections there.
Well, yeah. And a lot of times those gifts are done at the end of the year. And that is something we actually do want to tread lightly on, because the city takes donations for the employee fund, and we don't want to take away from that. So that's our one time a year that we tread lightly, because I'd love to do a big end of the year tax, donation, but that's not an available time. And we would never want to take away from the city employee fund. So.
Good discussion. Thanks very much. Anything else? City communications, no matters, administration, finance. Lee, you want to talk about financial statements?
Certainly. You all have the general fund and the sewer fund statements in the packet with you. Do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Certainly.
Maybe I wasn't listening well the last time, but I think you talked about backdating it one more month. I know you
Yes, I did. And actually, it's been a really big help, because now these are your October statements, and they are final. Instead of me waiting on certain pieces of information, the way we were doing it before, you would have the November statements now. And I wouldn't have, on some months, depending on how the meeting fell, I may or may not have all the information from the state to do the statements.
What kind of, where did that information come from that was so tardy?
Well, some of our, the state shared revenue, we get it in the latter part of the month. And sometimes, again, depending on when they send the email out with our information in there that I use to make my journal entry, sometimes I wouldn't get it until either the day of the meeting or maybe even after.
Is that right? Okay. So
is everybody all right with getting we'll call it a delayed statement in order that it be accurate, or be?
I just want to ask the question. I noticed in here we show the interest earned in the CDs and the interest earned on and the what's the other thing? The laddering,
not CD laddering, right?
That's a CD.
I mean, that's November stuff. And then
yes, I wanted to give you the most current on that, because that's aside from the actual financial statements.
But you have the October in October. You don't have.
Certainly, yes.
You don't have November and
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, just so we're consistent. Yeah.
Sure.
I think it doesn't it say that let's see on the CD laddering and the other, and let's say November.
It does say November.
Yeah.
It does say November, but what I'm saying was the November figure put in the October.
Oh, I got you. That way it'd be distorting it again. So we wanted to keep October into everything that's October and prior.
Is the state, Lee, is the state happy with that?
They don't
They don't
really have anything to do with our, our monthly
They
financials.
just see
care.
they look
Okay.
at the finals and the audits and whatever. So,
Right.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sure.
anything on the capital budget report? That everybody okay with how that looks? If anybody got any questions about our financial statements? I assume everybody is okay with the delayed statement. I know that I saw Louise nodding yes, and Russell, you okay with that? And I know Bob is, and Haley, you're right with the delayed statement to make sure that it's, okay, good. Okay. Okay, approval of invoices over $5,000. We got a new one, but let's look at these in Harding Place Sidewalks Phase 2. Remaining balance on that $8,580 contract amount, $3,000 remaining. That was to finish up the construction documents for continuation of the sidewalks on both ends. So that's 55, let's see, total due this invoice is, remaining balance is 3,000. Current due with this invoice is 5881.80. Kimberly Horn on the reverse side of that is 10,585. And Lee, what you sent us doesn't look like it's got an amount on it. Is that just to show that?
No, it's about on the right-hand side, about halfway down, line 6, current payment due, 203,000. It's really
I thought that's
small.
what had been paid. I'm sorry. Gosh.
No, that's okay. We actually haven't paid anything on
We
it.
hadn't paid anything. Oh, well, that was what all right. So this has been adjusted and got everything on it. Is that correct, Beth? Is that, so
Yes, there were no change orders or anything. This is the original contract price.
Okay.
And Barge Cawthon has inspected it and approved payment for this.
Okay. So we got those, is that 3 invoices?
Yes.
So Mayor, I move to approve these invoices over 5,000, including the Kimberly Horn invoice, the invoice for the Harding Place study, and then also the invoice for the street resurfacing.
Thank you, Rusty. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Let's have a roll call vote.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Moore, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Passes. All right. Approval of the annual audit report, fiscal year 2019-20. Lee, do you have any comments to make about that?
I was pleased to see that they did honor our pricing, that we're at now.
That's the next item.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I mean, did everybody feel comfortable with the way the audit procedure went? And we thought that Bob Zaglarski, by the way, had moved back. He has moved back in town, but I don't think he moved into Belmead. We can't find out where he moved to. He sent me an email, but didn't say where he was living. So I know he didn't move back into his old house because Gloria Sternberg said that they had a new neighbor on Royal Oaks, and so it wasn't him in that house. So we'll have to find out where he is, and so we still need to be looking for another member of the Budget and Finance Audit Committee. Do we actually have to get approval of the audit report?
Yes.
So does anyone have any other questions? I thought it went very well. I think it's a great review for us to make sure that it helps us in the budgeting process for the coming year too.
Mayor, I move the approval of the annual audit report.
Thanks, Rusty. Second it. So second.
A second, Louise.
Louise made a second. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Roll call.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Passes. All right, now Lee, proposal for craft CPAs for audit services. Your comments first.
Yes, they did honor our, keeping our price about the same.
It was $500
increase year to year.
Yeah. Well, are you pleased with them, and is that something that we should definitely consider?
I am pleased with them. They were easy to work with, very professional. I had not worked with them in the past, and they were good to work with.
Any other comments? I think the one reason we want to make sure we go through this thoroughly is because we don't want us to take advantage of them or them to take advantage of us. Getting overconfident. I think they've done a really, really good job, but we want to make sure that they make the same commitment to us. And but I think you'll feel very comfortable with them.
Jim, how many years have they been auditing us?
Bob, I want to say this is probably their 4th year, maybe. 5th
No,
year?
they had 2 3-year terms, and then last year we engaged them for 1 year because Lee was new and we didn't want to do an RFP with her being so new. So they've actually done an audit for us for 7 years. So this will
7
be
years.
another 3-year term if this one is approved.
So it's been 7, and we're looking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah, it does.
I remember all the problems we went through to change from the previous.
Crossland.
Yeah, Crossland. So.
Yeah.
But there's a new person on the account, correct? And doesn't that give us?
But it's probably one of the, I won't say least important persons, but it's the least important to our audit, probably. Would you say that, Lee? Would you agree with me on that?
Well, he's the day-to-day person, that's going to be looking at the details. The supervisor and the partner are not changing.
Yeah.
Right, but doesn't it give us a little more
New
comfort
eyes.
that someone,
it's a
Yeah.
fresh set of eyes.
a fresh set of
Sure.
eyes? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a little better due diligence on our part that someone different is looking
Exactly.
at it. I think.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, any further discussion on the proposal from Craft CPAs for audit services for a portion? Let's see, what do we say? The current fee scripts at least a portion of the 3-year period. So we're looking at a 3-year agreement. What can they do at the end of 1 year, Beth?
Well, they offered the 1-year proposal just for our consideration if we didn't want to do the 3-year, but Lee and I would rather have the continuity of a 3-year term.
I would too.
That's
Can
what we prefer from our work standpoint.
And what happens to the fee? Is the fee the same if they're going to give us a 3-year deal on the 22?
Now, if you look on page 51,
I'm
the
looking.
first year is $21,500 is what they charged us.
$500 increase.
Right, they charged us that 2 years ago, so they've kept that price. And then they're only going to go up $500 for the 2 consecutive years in the term.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
It is reasonable. So at the end of 3 years, it would be 22.5. Is that right? Okay.
Correct.
22.5. Okay, there it is on that next page. So on page 53, I guess is the one that, okay. Is there a motion to consider the proposal from Craft CPAs for a 3-year?
I make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation in, the 3-year proposal as presented on page 3 of Craft CPAs.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second Louise's motion.
Motion made in the second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Roll call.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Jim, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, may I say one thing really
You
quick on
can
that?
also call me Jim too. Okay.
Thank you. I just, in general, and it's probably because we weren't accepting other proposals, but this in general is the most generic proposal I have ever seen. And it may just be because they have a relationship with you all. If you all didn't have a
I
relationship
think
with
we
them,
asked, I think we asked them to respond that way. I don't believe that's their fault.
that's fine. I mean, I
Isn't
just
that
was like,
right,
oh my
Beth and
gosh,
Lee?
this is,
Isn't that how we, didn't we say that if they wanted to stay on, they could write us a letter basically saying that, so they didn't have to do a full proposal.
I believe that's right. Yeah, you're right. The proposals usually are pretty elaborate.
Yeah, we did not do an RFP. I don't, so that's, and you don't do an
Right.
RFP actually for that anyway, for professional services, so.
sure. I just was basically
but it
reading
would
through
be-
it. I'm
it
like,
would be
this
much
could
more
be
deep.
any city in the world.
It would be much
Yeah.
more detailed if we were looking to bring in a new firm.
Well, and again, their relationships with them mean more than anything. I just a comment.
Good comment. Good comment.
Good feedback. That's good feedback.
All right, consideration of employee salary increases. I have sent an email out earlier that I got a lot of grief from, but I really was just wanting the feedback of saying, is this the best venue for us to be talking about it, or would we rather be discussing this in a special meeting? And so if there's anybody that wants to comment on having a special meeting to discuss it, and Rusty, I think I could ask you because I know that how you may feel about it. Excuse me.
Well, I think it's merited that we look at these salaries, absolutely, and that we look at them as soon as possible. But I do favor having a special meeting for that.
Okay. Would you want to make a motion or something to the effect that that we decide this? I guess we'd say defer and then to have a special meeting. I'd like to ask Beth a question as it's going along. When would you want this to be effective, and when would you want to be the first payday? I guess we'll say for this.
Your memo is January 1, Beth, which makes sense.
That's not necessarily the pay date. I don't think we can.
Right, that's, trying to see here when we'll get paid. We have a payday on December 31st, which, let me look on my calendar here. So the next pay period would end on January the 10th.
Okay. So as long as we did it by January the 3rd or 4th or 5th, something like that, we ought to be okay. But would it be a good time to have the special meeting between Christmas and New Year's? Would anybody want to make any suggestions for that?
Well, you mean is just having a Zoom meeting with commissioners? to
No, I
discuss-
just think is that the best time. I guess Beth could go ahead and send us 2 or 3 dates as long as it's before that January drop dead date, which might be the 3rd or 4th or 5th or something like that. Could you do that, Beth?
All right, I'd say the first week of January would be a good time to meet. If,
Okay. Why don't go ahead, Rusty?
Okay. Well, I will. Well, first, I'd like to say I am not in town the first week, but I probably can attend. But I am not in town from the 1st through the 10th.
Will you have internet? Will you have internet connection?
Possibly, probably, somewhat.
I won't ask you where you're going to be.
I'll figure out how to participate.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we defer this discussion and that we, as soon as possible, schedule a special meeting of the commissioners for discussion of employee salaries and bonuses.
Is there a second? Haley seconds, I think. Are you
Yeah,
waving
that's thank you. I was reaching for the mute and I was already unmuted. I would like to second.
Yeah, I thought you were waving to second it. I wasn't sure what that
I was reaching for my button, but yes,
okay.
we can do
So we
that
have
too.
a motion by Rusty, a second by Haley. All in favor, say aye. Roll call.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Bob Weigel, nay.
Are you gonna be in town, Bob?
I'll be in town.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carries. Let's see here. Facilities report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
had a question really quick for
Yeah.
Beth.
Uh-huh.
The information that you gave us from the other city managers, and thank you for including that. Is this some type of like chat? What is this? What am I reading? I mean, I
Where did
understand
you
there's
get the information?
This is the Tennessee City Manager's website, and they have a
okay.
forum on there where we all can ask each other questions, share information. You know, if we've got issues come up or we need a sample model policy, does anybody else have?
Sure.
It's great. It's so helpful.
Thank you. Good
And
question. Thank
is
you.
every city a participant or can be?
If you're a member of the Tennessee City Managers Association, you have access to this. There are some cities that their managers are not members of the association, but
Okay. And then,
percentage.
sorry, and then are these all of the responses that you received? Like you included each?
That's all I had received as of Friday. And honestly, this week I haven't had time to go back and look.
It's more like it's more like a blog, isn't it, Beth? Sort of.
No, it's an official website. But then if you have to have a special password to get onto the forum, so that there's not just people going on there and saying stuff that aren't city managers.
I wish the commissioners could have a site like that. So,
yeah.
look at
well,
Doug.
I think it's really valuable. I think it's really valuable information. And if you do get additional responses, I personally would love to see them. So thank you for including this.
I'll be checking between now and whenever the special meeting is so that I can give you more updates on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haley.
Perfect.
All right. I want to make sure that everybody has viewed the security door, not security door, what's this guy called? It's the First Amendment. What is he called? An auditor?
First Amendment auditor.
Listen.
First Amendment auditor, he calls himself.
Okay. Everybody saw the YouTube. I want to make sure all the commissioners saw that so we don't surprise anybody with what happened. Anybody have any questions? I know that Louise has seen it, Haley's seen it, Rusty's seen it. I guess that's just Bob. Bob, did you see the video?
I've seen it. Who was that character?
Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. But anyway, he's an independent guy that just comes around and makes sure that we know what the First Amendment is.
Is he part of the state government?
No. Look at Doug. You want to make any comments?
I would make them, but I'm afraid they would become scandalous and full of full of invective.
Yeah, that's we sort of have to leave that one alone. And
I'm glad Beth was there to de-escalate. She did a wonderful job. I'm glad I wasn't there. I would have put a hole in the wall. It was awful.
And it was horrible that Kim got caught in that whiplash too. So I felt so bad for her. I talked to her afterwards, and I know that Beth did, and I think Lyle did too. We've all talked to her and hopefully made her feel a little bit better about it. But she went through and she's still going through some trauma from that too. So Lyle, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about what are your feelings about the upgrades to security. And I think we can go into every bit of it and have some good discussion.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. We actually we're discussing purchasing cameras, which we have done. Does everyone see the screen?
Is that Arlo Guthrie? Arlo Guthrie?
No. Okay. All right, these are the cameras that were purchased. They just arrived this past Monday. This is an Arlo security camera. I just took a picture of this in the office just to show you the size and scale of it. It's smaller than a cell phone. So 6 cameras were purchased, and they're going to go throughout City Hall. The video is stored in the cloud. It's rotated every 7 days. We also have a 2 terabyte hard drive. So we actually were able to put 4 of these up today. Here's one in the courtroom, very inconspicuous. We got one in the back hallway showing the back door, the windows, the kitchen. Here's one in the fingerprint station on the police side, just to protect the policeman. Let me go back just a second. So these are the cameras that were put in. They were under $1,000. And we discussed the fact that we would have video evidence if something were to happen. Also, we may purchase some signs and have those made that say something to the effect of video surveillance. It may help somebody and deter them from doing something worse if they know they're being videoed. These cameras are not monitored. This is merely a way to store things for 7 days, a month, however long it takes, to be able to go back and pull up evidence if something were to happen. We also discussed putting doors in as a security measure. This is a picture of the doorway from the main entrance to where Edie and Kim sit. The doors are going to be accessed by employees with a key fob. The public will be buzzed through. The doors are going to try to match them exactly as the courtroom doors currently. Now the glass in these doors is frosted, but the glass supplied in the doors coming in will be clear. We kind of discussed also a welcoming atmosphere by leaving these doors open, so you can come in and see.
You're talking about the courtroom doors open.
The courtroom doors, yes. You'd be able to see the courtroom, the City of Belmead words above the bench, but the doors in the rear could remain locked. And this is a twofold thing. It's a way to keep it a welcoming atmosphere, but at the same time, it allows the HVA system to function properly. Larry can tell you if you close off the courtroom completely, it really messes up the HVAC system. Also talked about cameras outside at the city dumpster, either mounted on that pole that you see or possibly putting a pole just behind that. These will be tied into the existing cameras that are monitored by the police dispatch now. And these cameras are going to face the parking lot where the employees park. Also have one facing back towards the back entrance to City Hall. And also we had some discussions about panic buttons in each office. If someone were to come in, something were to happen, we could have these panic buttons to alert the police dispatch and possibly each other, where you could get up and shut your door or whatever the training that it would need be.
Do you have those buttons now?
We do, and they're battery operated and they do not work very well. They were tested not too long ago. Some worked, some didn't. It's quite a distance from some of the offices over to dispatch because I think it's, I don't think Bluetooth is the correct word. Maybe it's a radio frequency. I'm not sure, but some of them did not work.
So if you had one in your office and you buzz it, where does it buzz?
Well, currently it would buzz in dispatch, and dispatch would be alerted that there was a problem in my office, and they would have the police come in. But not all of them are working.
But I mean, if you would you hardwire? Is that what you're talking? Hardwiring these things or something? Oh.
Well, I'm not sure. It's possible. We've got Paragon Security System coming in Friday at 10:30 to talk about the doors and the panic buttons, and we'll know more then after we get with them.
Well, Bluetooth or wireless has gotten where it's pretty reliable now, but it may be whatever you had was not reliable. So,
yeah.
I got a question on the video cameras. Are the cameras always running, or are they motion activated?
Well, you can have them always running. You can have them running from 8 to 5, 24/7, motion activated. It just depends on how they're set up. With it being in the cloud, it would record over itself. So if you did a 24/7 every 7 days, you'd have new video.
Still doesn't make any difference. As long as it's going to the cloud and erasing it when nothing happens, right? So.
Right, that's correct. But as I mentioned, we also have a 2 terabyte hard drive, which can back it up for 2 months.
Well, you're putting a lot of video out. How's 2 terabytes? What does that mean when you got 5 or 6 cameras on there?
Approximately 2 months.
Okay.
2 months of storage.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Questions? What's the estimate on the door price? Have any idea?
Not yet. I actually got in touch with the parent company. They're the ones that built City Hall, and they hooked me up with the mill company that supplied those doors. They're going to give us a price. probably sometime next week. I think it's a door that's in stock. Also contacted Warren Brothers. They can custom make the doors, but I feel like the standard door from the parent company would be a better match, better cost. They also offered to send some people over, the parent company from St. George's, since they're next door, to help install those doors.
I hope they're faster at that than they were at Belmead Club Edition. Okay, I'm sorry.
I've got a question for Lyle. Who, if you need to access the video footage, who can do that and how would they do that?
You can set it up. Anybody can look at it that's authorized. You can look at it on a cell phone or on your laptop, desktop. It doesn't matter.
So would this be something, I mean, is it have we thought about who is authorized to see it? And I'm wondering, like we've got Nest cameras here. We can access those on our phones at any time too, if I'm curious of what's going on. If we're away from City Hall, or one of you's away from City Hall and you need to look into something, is it something you plan to do? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is everyone that works at City Hall going to have access to the footage?
No.
No.
Okay.
No. And there's really no reason to ever look at it.
Right.
If there's a situation. So no, not everyone.
Now, it's not a live stream anyway, right? Not per se. It's not. It's a recording.
Well, it's a recording, but you can actually look at it, and there may be a 5-second delay.
Okay. Okay.
So it is live stream.
Jim, I have this Arlo system at our lake house, and you can look real. You can do the motion activated, and then it becomes real time. It's really reliable system. I thanks for getting that already put up and going. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you guys reacted quickly.
Okay.
I think the cameras are definitely a deterrent. In my mind, I think the door is the real protection against some unstable person. You know, this is the 8-year anniversary of Sandy Hook, and Sandy Hook is what changed the world. I've told some of you last week, I went to Ensworth to drop off something, and I kind of forgot you have to be buzzed into that school now. And when I was there, I told that to a friend of mine who works there, and she said, Louise, you can't go anywhere without being buzzed in. You just forgot this.
Yeah.
And she's right. And so, you know, people need to go to work and feel safe. And, you know, if you watch that video, it makes me sick that happened to Kim. It just makes me sad. And I just, you know, there's no reason that guy in the state of Tennessee didn't have anything with him, because he could certainly have had anything with him. I'm talking about a gun. I'm a gun owner. I get it. I totally get it. You know, I'm all for it. But, you know, it's nothing stopping anybody right now. So we need to make everybody safe in Belmead. And thank you, Lyle, for all that you've done. Thank you, Beth. But that door is going to stop somebody from being stupid.
And Beth and Lyle, I was the most troubled in the video. I mean, the whole thing was troubling, but one of the more troubling things was that when he was going back into the storage room, and you know, I know that door's probably open because I know we use that for voting and everything, but I hope we can keep that locked now. Where you come in, out of the commission chamber or the courtroom, off to the side there.
There are two other doors that could be locked. The one that goes back to the back hallway and one that goes in that back room. So.
Right.
Once we get the doors that we can open up at the front of the courtroom, then we're going to lock those access to those other doors to the storeroom and so forth. So.
Perfect.
I would like to. I know they've already proceeded with the video, the video security, but I would first of all like the commissioners to vote, just to give a confidence vote to this process. So I would entertain a vote to include the video and the security door in one, if somebody's willing to make a motion.
I make a motion to put into the budget to purchase the security camera and to install a security door for the City Hall of Belmead.
Second, is there a second?
I strongly second.
Strongly second. All in favor, roll call vote.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Haley Dale, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye.
Trustee Moore, aye.
Weigel, aye.
Wonderful. Hey, guys, that's great. ASAP is what we want. So Lyle, to get parent to get on it and get what we can do.
We'll do it.
Chief, we've got a gentleman on here that's been on here. Are you Mason? Are you on duty right now?
Technically, yes, sir. I am on duty.
Well, good. I don't feel bad about you sitting there for that. But you've been answering the phone and the stuff as a dispatcher during this meeting.
Oh no, sir. John Baldwin's over here. He's our shift's kind of overlaid a little bit. Tony's
Okay.
So I could be here for this, and I wouldn't miss anything important.
Chief, why don't you give him a little introduction?
His name's Mason Coffin. He's from Dixon County. He's going to be replacing the midnight shift dispatcher, Billy Scarborough, who is going to the police academy the first week of January. So Mason actually has wanted to be a police dispatcher. He's not interested in actually being a police officer, but he's wanted to be a police dispatcher. And so he's real happy to be here. He's done really well in training and just been released from training after passing his test. So he's going to work out really well, I think.
Well, congratulations, Mason. Do you know your sheriff down there in Dixon County?
As a matter of fact, yes, I do, sir. He's actually really close friends with my dad. And when I came in for my interview for this job, he said, "Oh, you're Daniel's boy? Oh no, get out of here. We don't want you."
We're glad to have you aboard. You want to make a speech or something?
I don't really have much to say other than Lieutenant or Chief is correct. I have been interested in being a dispatcher for a while. I'm really close friends with one of the officers here, Wes Boker. When he was working as a dispatcher and patrol officer for Dixon County, I did ride-alongs with him and sat down with him in the dispatch room, and I just found a passion for it. I love to help people, and I feel like I can do really good in this field. And according to everybody else, I'm doing a halfway decent job at it. So,
where'd you go to school?
I'm a 2016 graduate of Dixon County High School.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. And
you make a nice speech too. That's good.
Did I say I'm a Dixon High School graduate, but I'm not going to tell you what year?
Well, I also have an associate's degree in psychology from Nashville State. I took advantage of some scholarships when I graduated high school and got some free college out of the way. So that's about the extent of my education.
Well, that's great, and welcome aboard. Thank you,
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Let's see, legislation, no matters. Other matters, we've talking about our retreat dates, and I communicated to the commissioners early. Looks like the 16th, 17th of February, or the 17th and 18th. And in order to get Lyle and Haley out of that BZA on the 16th, I would suggest that we look at the 17th and 18th. Which would be the Wednesday and Thursday following the commissioner meeting on the 17th, and 30 minutes after that, we would re-adjourn at the Belmead Plantation called the Rochford Loft. And so that would be my suggestions. Everybody check their calendar.
Jim, I agree with you. The 17th and 18th would be better. I kind of like going straight from the commissioners meeting to the retreat on the first day.
Well, I said 30 minutes, but I think that it's for those of us who would like to have a little toddy when we get there, can get there as soon as they can. So I just said 30 minutes so that some of the women who may want to go and primp and whatever else, that's kind of a sexist thing, but whatever they do.
Let me ask you this, where is the Rochford room?
Did you not see it? It's over the stables, but there's a secret way to get there.
So this is not at Bellmead Club, right?
No, this is Bellmead's Plantation. You're gonna love this room, Bob. You're gonna fall in love with it.
All right.
Rusty, you've seen it, right?
Yes, this is a great, I'm excited about this, and I think giving me 30 minutes to look a little better when I get there is fantastic.
Okay, Louise, what do you think about it? Do you think this is a nice room?
It'll be nice. It'll be a great place to be for sure. Yeah.
Haley, did you go up and look at it?
No, but I was just gonna say I'll forego my primping and show up to have whiskey with you guys if it's okay.
The Plantation's on the way to your home, so you could stop real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Well, this is something I should adjourn, but we had a meeting the other day, and somebody made a comment that I look like Joe Biden, and Lyle made some comment, and y'all know what Haley said she looked like.
I did not say no. That is not. I did not say I looked like her.
You said somebody told you that you.
Yes, but that's a big important detail.
Anybody want to take a guess at who she looks like? Laura Catherine looks like she knows what the answer is.
Well, she was there.
I do. It was my meeting. It was
her meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
Who do you look like? Who'd you get comments about?
Well, who I was told I looked like was Monica Lewinsky, so I just had to one up Jim on his Joe Biden.
I won't tell you what Lyle did, but
it was pretty funny though. It was funny.
It was before the meeting.
I moved
started.
that we adjourn. And Louise Louise is with me all the way.
I second that.
I got one other piece of other matters. I did talk to DeCosta Jenkins at NES, and he has already gotten Don Hill in touch with me. And he's added, or not he, but Don Hill has added Vaughn Charles to this meeting that's going to be scheduled in early January for us to talk about the early possible burying of some of the NES lines. We may only go 10 feet. But anyway, it's the discussion. The discussion.
Starting the discussions.
And Louise, I know that's something you can check that little block off, and that we're going to start talking about it. Anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. I think that's great. I think a
Anybody
lot
have
of people will be excited about that.
Let's see. That's all I've got. Anybody else got anything else?
I just have a quick question about
Merry
the.
Christmas.
Hold on.
Hang on.
Sorry,
Haley's got a
quick
question. Hang on.
Haley.
It's not an intense one. I just wondered for the board retreat, is everything like, do we have an agenda of topics to discuss, or can anything come up?
Louise is going to be working on the agenda. She'll have the agenda. Oh, it's a tight agenda. Bob Weigel has got the last 10 years worth of retreat agendas. And so she'll have a lot of work. And she and Bob will work together on getting that agenda. No, we always go over budget not over budget, over time with it, but it's going to be you'll have plenty to do. Don't worry about it, but it'll be very organized for a while.
Okay. So anything that we want to be discussed into Louise.
Yes.
Louise is going to be soliciting you for what you want to do.
Okay, great.
But now you gotta limit your intake of alcohol too, because we if you don't do that, then it can go on for a long time.
Is that a new rule?
Well, I won't tell everybody how much. But anyway, Bellmead, the plantation has sent me some menus, and I don't know whether we really can't order off of a menu. We're going to have to make some choices, and I'll get that to you shortly. And Laura Catherine, I'm sorry that I don't think we can have you to come to this. I'd like to have you for a minute or two.
Okay. Whatever. I would love to be part of it. This is something that I've had on my agenda since y'all first approached me about beautification. I just
okay.
Really
I know Doug Berry wishes he could attend, but we're not going to let him.
Why not?
Because there's alcohol.
Sounds so fun.
We do have a good time. And Mason, you just have to man the phones, keep all the police out of our meeting, okay?
Don't you worry, I got you 6.
Okay, thank you. If there's no further business, I suggest and recommend that we adjourn. You want to let's do that formally. Is there a motion?
I like to move that we adjourn.
Motion made. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye at the same time.
Aye.
Aye.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.